Amid the smell of disinfectant at Vienna General Hospital, Clara had just crushed her third painkiller when she saw Marcus standing at the delivery room door, dressed in a crisp suit. Snowmelt clung to his cuffs, and in his hand, he gripped a spousal relationship declaration, the ink on the husband's signature line still wet. A nurse, holding the newborn baby, hesitated. "Mr. Wolf, this person, the child's father." Marcus cut her off, tapping the consent form with his gold pen. "Sign this, and the child gets into the family trust." Clara's nails dug into the side rail of the delivery bed when a heavy crash echoed from the corridor. Hans had burst through the fire door. Cement dust stained the knees of his work pants, and the thermos he'd been clutching fell to the floor, spilling a frozen apple pie. The photo he held glinted harshly under the lights. Marcus, arm around a red-haired woman, at Munich's Christmas market. The date? The very week Clara had suffered the worst of her morning sickness. The trust? Hans's voice was rough as sandpaper on metal. He lunged at Marcus, only for Marcus to step aside. "You don't even know she's allergic to pollen. How dare you call yourself a father?" The baby erupted into cries. Frida swept in, her pearl necklace brushing the infant's soft cheek. She ignored the two men grappling and pressed a solid gold longevity lock into Clara's palm. "The child must take the Wolf name. Otherwise, father will give the trust to your cousin." Clara stared at the crest engraved on the lock and suddenly noticed a tiny microphone hidden in the clasp. It was identical to the one Marcus had pinned to the white rose on their wedding day. Meanwhile, from Hans's fallen thermos, along with the apple pie, rolled a crumpled sheet of paper, Hans's construction contract, with Marcus's signature on the work-related injury liability waiver page. The snow in Vienna fell endlessly. As Clara sat on the bridal bed holding the baby, Marcus hummed Silent Night in the bathroom. The shower's roar muffled his phone call, but Clara still caught snippets. "Get rid of Hans. Don't cut off the meds for her foster mother." She fished out the anti-allergy pills from under her pillow. Taped to the bottom of the box was a note in her foster mother's neat handwriting. "He's been putting sleeping pills in your milk. Don't trust him." Her foster mother had been bedridden for 3 years, kept alive only by the private doctor Marcus had arranged. Last week, the doctor had suddenly threatened to stop treatment unless Clara cooperated and registered her marriage to Marcus. She hadn't thought much of it then. But earlier, at the hospital, when Hans had screamed, "He falsified your foster mother's medical records. It's not a chronic illness at all," a cold dread had finally settled over her. "What are you thinking about?" Marcus emerged in a bathrobe, water droplets from his hair dripping onto Clara's collarbone. He reached for the baby, but Clara instinctively pulled the infant closer only to brush against something hard in his bathrobe pocket. It felt like a gun. "Nothing," Clara forced a smile, handing the baby over. "Have you picked a name?" "Lucas." Marcus teased the baby's chin, no warmth in his eyes. "After my grandfather." His tone sharpened suddenly. "Hans is heading back to Munich tonight. Will you go see him off?" Clara's heart skipped a beat. She knew it was a test, but she had no choice. Her foster mother was still waiting for her meds tomorrow, at 3 in the morning. Snow stung Clara's face at the train station. Hans, wrapped in a tattered cotton jacket, clutched a brown paper bag. When he saw her, he thrust the bag into her arms. "Inside are your foster mother's real medical records and proof Marcus has been poaching." He paused, his voice softening. "Let fall at the construction site. It wasn't an accident. He had someone loosen the scaffold bolts." The train whistle blew. Clara grabbed Hans's wrist. His palm still bore the burn from cement, the same one she'd seen on their wedding day. "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" "I was afraid you'd choose him." Hans's eyes reddened. "On your wedding day, he handed me a check. Said you always thought I was too poor." He pulled a crumpled pack of Camel cigarettes from his pocket. "You bought these for me once. I never had the heart to smoke them." As the train pulled away, Clara spotted Marcus's silver Porsche parked in the corner of the platform. Its headlights flashed twice, an unspoken urge. She tucked the paper bag into her underwear and turned, meeting Marcus's icy gaze head-on. Lucas's 1-month celebration was held in the Wolf Group's ballroom, where crystal chandeliers blinded. Clara stood in the corner holding the baby, watching Marcus toast contractors, and suddenly felt nauseous. She slipped laxatives into his milk that morning. Already, his face had paled. "Why aren't you making the rounds?" Frida approached, a glass of red wine in hand. She didn't look at Lucas instead, her eyes fixed on Clara's neckline. "You'll need concealer for that hickey on your collarbone." Clara tightened her grip on the baby's swaddle, where she'd hidden Hans's medical records. "How did you know?" "I've known what kind of man he is since I was 12, Frida sneered, pulling a yellow photo from her handbag. This was the first dog he killed, a German Shepherd. He pushed it off a cliff. The teenage Marcus in the photo wore the same smile he had now. Father covered it up then. Now he's planning to do the same to Lucas. Clara's fingers trembled. She remembered Marcus sneaking into the nursery the night before, holding a deer hunting toy, muttering, "Boys need to learn to hunt." She remembered the impatience in his eyes when Lucas cried as if the baby were nothing but a nuisance. Why would he do that? Because father said only Lucas can inherit the trust. Frida took a sip of wine, her eyes darkening. If he loses this child, he'll have to hand over his position to your cousin. She suddenly grabbed Clara's hand. "Tomorrow, I'll take you to the children's orphanage. The director is my goddaughter, she'll keep Lucas safe." Before Clara could respond, Marcus's voice cut in. "Mother, what are you two talking about?" He stepped over, his arm sliding naturally around Clara's shoulders but his fingers dug into her waist. "It's time to feed Lucas. Don't keep the guests waiting." Clara nodded, biting back the pain. As she turned toward the lounge, she heard Frida call after her, "Watch what he puts in the formula." The lounge door had barely closed when Clara laid Lucas in the crib and pulled out the medical records hidden in his swaddle. They spelled out her foster mother's true condition. Marcus had deliberately injected her with an overdose of sedatives, leaving her in a prolonged coma. And in Hans's work injury report, there was a signature from an anonymous witness one Clara recognized, her foster mother's former caregiver. She suddenly recalled that the caregiver had died in an accident last month. At the time, Marcus had claimed it was a heart attack. "What are you looking at?" Marcus's voice came from the doorway. Clara hastily tucked the records under the pillow. When she turned, he was holding a baby bottle. "Freshly made formula. You feed Lucas." Clara took the bottle. Her fingertips brushed the glass perfectly warm, as if he'd timed it down to the second. She thought of Frida's warning. As Marcus turned away, she poured the formula down the bathroom drain. Then, pretending Lucas had finished, she handed him the empty bottle. "He seems to have a fever," Clara frowned deliberately, touching Lucas's forehead. "Should we take him to the hospital?" Marcus's eyes flickered. He stepped over, touching the baby's forehead, then his own. "It's fine, babies run warm." He paused. "Tomorrow, I'm going to Munich for business. Come with me. We can visit Hans while we're there." Clara's heart sank. She knew it was a trap but she had no choice. Her foster mother was still in the hospital, waiting for her rescue. And Hans might hold more evidence against Marcus. On the drive to Munich, Marcus talked nonstop on the phone. Clara pretended to sleep, but her ears pricked up. "Blow up Hans's construction site, leave no trace." She quietly pulled out her phone and texted Hans, "Watch the site. Marcus is planning something." As they exited the highway, black smoke rose from the distance. A smile tugged at Marcus's lips. He pulled over. "See? I told you Hans was unreliable." Clara's heart felt crushed. She threw open the car door and ran toward the site only for Marcus to yank her back by the wrist. "Don't go. It's dangerous." His fingers were ice cold. "The police are already here. We just need to give a statement." At the police station, Hans sat on a bench, covered in ash. When he saw Clara, he struggled to stand. "Are you okay? I got your text. I got the workers out in time, only the warehouse was hit." Tears spilled down Clara's cheeks. She opened her mouth to speak, but Marcus stepped over, swinging an arm around her shoulders. "Officer, we're here to testify." He pulled a photo from his pocket. "This is proof Hans was dealing with gangsters. I suspect he blew up the warehouse himself to collect insurance." In the photo, Hans shook hands with a stranger, a warehouse in the background. Clara saw the forgery instantly. Hans's work pants were the ones she bought him last year, but the pants in the photo were clearly new. "You're lying." Hans stood, furious, but the police held him back. "He faked this. He also killed the caregiver." Marcus sneered, pulling a document from his briefcase. "This is the caregiver's autopsy report. It says heart attack." He handed it to the officer. "I think Hans is delusional. I suggest a psychiatric evaluation." Clara watched as Hans was led away, overwhelmed with urgency and rage. She knew Marcus had connections everywhere. If this continued, Hans would be killed sooner or later. "Don't worry," Marcus stroked her hair. "I'll get him the best lawyer." His tone was gentle, but his eyes were full of calculation. "First, let's go to the hospital to see your foster mother. The doctor said she woke up today." In the hospital room, Clara's foster mother lay in bed, her face pale. When she saw Clara, she managed a weak smile. I knew you'd come. Clara took her hand, tears dripping onto her skin. Mom, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have trusted Marcus. It's not your fault, her foster mother said. He's too good at pretending. She paused, pulling a voice recorder from under her pillow. I secretly recorded this. It has him admitting he injected me with sedatives. Clara clutched the recorder tightly. She opened her mouth to speak, then heard footsteps at the door. It was Marcus, carrying a fruit basket, his face beaming. Mom, how are you feeling? Her foster mother stiffened, forcing a smile. Much better. Thank you. Marcus walked to the bed, picked up an apple, and began peeling it with a fruit knife. The doctor said you need more rest. I've arranged a top-tier private ward for you. He handed the peeled apple to Clara. Feed Mom. Clara took the apple, but alarm bells rang in her head. She remembered her foster mother's warning about Marcus tampering with food. As Marcus turned away, she tossed the apple into the trash. Why aren't you feeding her? Marcus turned back, feigning confusion. Mom just woke up. She can't eat anything too hard. Clara forced a smile. We should let her rest. Marcus nodded and walked out of the room. Watching his back, Clara silently vowed, I will make him pay. After returning to Vienna, Clara secretly gathered evidence against Marcus. She found Hans's co-workers, who provided proof Marcus had ordered the scaffold bolts loosened. She contacted the caregiver's family and obtained her diary filled with accounts of Marcus's threats. She even tracked down the anonymous witness, who agreed to testify in court about Marcus forging the work injury report. Frida helped her in secret, too. She gave Clara videos of Marcus poaching, plus chat records between him and the red-haired woman, records that included his plans to get rid of Clara and Lucas. The time is right. Frida handed Clara a document. This is father's will. It says if Marcus breaks the law, the trust goes to Lucas. She paused. Tomorrow, I'll bring father here. Show him the evidence. He values the family name above all. He'll never let Marcus get away with this. Clara took the document, hope swelling in her chest. She knew tomorrow would decide everything. The next day, Old Man Wolf arrived at Wolf Group as scheduled. Clara laid out all the evidence before him, the voice recorder, the diary, the videos, the chat records. Old Man Wolf's face darkened with each page. Finally, he slammed his teacup to the floor. This monster! How could I have such a grandson? Marcus heard the noise and walked into the conference room. Grandfather, what's wrong? When he saw the evidence on the table, his face turned white. This is a forgery. Clara framed me. Forgery? Old Man Wolf sneered, holding up the will. If you hadn't broken the law, would I be giving the trust to Lucas? He paused. From today, you are banished from the Wolf family. Everything the group owns now belongs to Lucas. Marcus couldn't believe his ears. Grandfather, you can't do this to me. He lunged for the will, but security guards held him back. Take him away, Old Man Wolf waved a hand. Hand him over to the police. Let the law punish him. Watching Marcus being led away, Clara finally breathed a sigh of relief. She walked up to Old Man Wolf and bowed. Thank you, Grandfather. Old Man Wolf sighed. I'm the one who owes you an apology. He paused. Lucas is a good child. I'll take good care of him from now on. Clara smiled, filled with gratitude. She knew it was all over. She and Lucas could finally live in peace. 3 months later, Clara opened a flower shop by the Danube River. Lucas could walk now, and he ran around the shop every day, like a little angel. Hans had also returned from Munich and opened an auto repair shop next to the flower shop. He often stopped by to help. One day, as Clara trimmed roses, she saw Frida walk in. She wore a plain dress and looked older than before. What brings you here? Clara put down her scissors and poured her a cup of tea. Frida took the cup and took a sip. I came to see Lucas. She paused. Father passed away last month. The will has taken effect. Lucas is now the heir to Wolf Group. Clara was shocked. Thank you for telling me. No need for thanks, Frida smiled. I only did what I had to. She watched Lucas playing among the flowers, her eyes soft. If you ever need help, just let me know. Clara nodded, warmth filling her heart. She knew that despite all the pain of the past, she had finally found happiness. As the sun set, the Danube turned orange-red. Clara held Lucas in her arms, standing at the flower shop door, watching Hans busy in the auto repair shop. A happy smile spread across her face. She knew the days ahead would only get better.